Great. Okay, so just for the record, we should be streaming on YouTube just about now. I will give Lori a quick call. You guys want to give each other book recommendations or whatever floats your boat? I'll be right back.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yep, I hear you, Audrey.
Yes. All right, because I don't have really great, this is why I don't like Zoom, because I don't have the best computer for internet and it comes in and out. So how am I supposed to know if we have people watching?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that answer.
So I can't tell. Like I can see that 8 people have watched last month, but I can't tell in real time just because there would be too much multitasking to be logged on there and logged on here.
Yeah.
That being said, I think in terms of counting visitors, I would say if we had anyone submit questions, I would count them, and we haven't had that.
Okay. Well, because I write that we know how many visitors, but if we do.
Usually, if we have visitors, they usually make themselves known, especially in this event, this type of venue. They will make themselves known. Okay. And if we have visitors, they usually come to say something or to get clarification about something. So I think we're good. I was having a few problems getting on myself.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't able to get on with what she sent me. She had to send me something else, or she said to send it again.
Right. I had no issues.
That's good.
Well, Debbie, that's good.
Yeah, I got right on. So
Good.
I don't know.
I just learned to keep trying. I don't give up.
I had to call Judith because I tried 3 times and nothing.
Me too. So did I.
Nope, should be in
I must have just had that magic touch tonight.
That's right, Debbie.
Oh, no worries. They're chatting amongst themselves.
Well, when she sends the exact invite, it's okay. But if she just sends me, like tonight, she sent kind of that link just within the email, that didn't let me get on. So I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable about it, so
Let me forward it.
I tried, got on.
Well, I use it a lot, so for various meetings, and
Yeah.
so it all has its quirks. How's everyone doing? Other than that,
Loving the weather.
Forward.
Well,
yes.
That's the Gmail, right?
Got some of the leaves raked.
Dickerson 755 at Gmail. And then just
So I've been doing good. I have been doing the Board of Trustees book club.
Yep, LAURELD.
And look, I even got a certificate of attendance.
Good for you.
I think that's like a participation trophy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it, but hey, you know.
is that through Upper Hudson Library? I haven't heard of that.
It is and it's actually given by the 2 people that wrote the handbook.
Oh,
I got you.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're really nice.
Bye now.
They do it once a month. They go over a section of the handbook for the trustees, and they go in detail over your responsibilities. And let me tell you, the first section, I was like, wow, that was a lot more than I anticipated being responsible for.
Oh, so the book club is for the handbook.
The book club is for the handbook.
Oh,
it goes over
okay.
chapter by chapter by chapter by what your responsibilities are as a trustee.
Okay, interesting.
So the next one's on the 16th. I think that's a Tuesday, right? Whatever the Tuesday is, I think that's...
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, the 16th. That's the next one.
How do you connect with it, hon?
Oh, so I can send out the information again. I probably sent it out, in August, maybe? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something like that.
Yeah. I only said it once. It's something that the public library systems So the people are doing it like Debbie was saying. I know Rebecca's the director at Mid-Hudson. She's fantastic. And who is it? Jerry Nichols? Is that who's doing it with her? I forget. I'm not in the trustee book.
There was, well, it's the two people that wrote the book, and then it's there's some other guy.
Yeah, I'll find that. I'll try and dig that email out and send it to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, Laura.
Hey, Debbie.
You good? Laura?
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hear you.
we can.
Hi.
We can hear
Sorry, sorry I'm late. I couldn't seem to get my computer to pull it up. But I just had a question. Can you get that program after the fact, Debbie? Is it taped or recorded?
I know they send me like the slides and stuff afterwards. I don't know if the webinar was recorded.
Well, maybe I'll get.
I'll have to look at it. Let me look at what they sent me, and I'll let you know.
Oh, well, that would be great because I take a yoga class that I've already paid for on Tuesday at 5:30. So, but I'd really like to hear what's up with it. So,
Let me look it up,
out.
and I'll get back to you.
Okay. Well, thank you. So if everybody's here, I can't see. I'm using my phone, so I can't see everybody. Are we all here?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Antonio.
How you doing?
Okay. Well, let's call the meeting to order. And thanks everybody for taking time out of your day, your evening. And so we want to welcome any visitors that we have online. Thank you for joining us.
Recording in progress.
And Audrey, thanks so much again for doing the minutes. And maybe we can review them. Anybody have any comments? I just have a question. Under the program, it says in October, there will be a drop in activity crafts each Saturday. And I wondered if somebody could jog my memory about what we were talking about there.
When I was rereading that, I was laughing. So it's supposed to be that on Saturdays you can drop in and do an activity.
Okay. I get it.
I know. When I was reading it tonight, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound right.
No,
to me, it's like there's a drop in activity.
There's a drop in activity. Okay, I totally remember that now. Thank you. It totally makes sense. Any other comments that anyone wants to make?
Nope.
Okay, well, thank you.
I think they look
And
great.
Really?
maybe way to go,
Oh my
Audrey.
goodness, I'm so excited.
Woohoo! So I will entertain a motion for it to pass, it be accepted.
So I make a motion to accept the minutes.
And I
Thank you.
second it. This is Meredith.
Meredith. Thank you. That's great. How about the director's reports?
Okay, coming right up. I'm gonna share my screen here. And here we go. Got slides, share. Right. And present. Okay. So October. We had our Meet the Candidates night. Antonio did a fantastic job as moderator, and it was nice to see a couple of you all there as well. I thought it went well. We had, I think, 27 people log in, and it was respectful, non-contentious. The other candidates did not at the last minute decide to participate, which was a bit of a pipe dream, but alas, you all know the outcome of the election, so I don't know if things will be any different next time, but I feel like it was the right thing to do. So thanks again,
Definitely.
Antonio, and it was nice to see you there.
Yeah, thank you, Antonio.
You're welcome. I did my disclaimer.
And then here, this is a program we had this past month. We did a rubber ball drop. Alex has been doing these quasi-science, quasi-outside activity, which seemed to blend well together. So the kids built rubber bands and then had to make predictions as to how high they would bounce once dropped. I think 6 feet was about the record. But it was a lot of fun and kind of got that tween age group that is where we start kind of losing the kids. So that in particular was
That's
really
great. Yeah,
nice.
that's great.
Also kind of that group, our middle grades book club. You know, I think our first 2 meetings we had 1 kid, but now we pretty consistently have 6. So that's nice.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately, our author messaged me that day saying, "Oh, my 93-year-old mother got sick. I need to take her to the doctor." So our author was not able to join us, but the kids didn't seem to care that much, so it was fine. We got a program, you know, once or twice a year we do a program and partner with Alzheimer's Association. We have a pretty regular attendance. You know, unfortunately, it's a common enough disease and it really affects family members. So we always get a decent turnout for these programs. This is something we tried this year for the first time.
Would you say you had a good, I keep.
Is it not a great audio, Audrey? It's decent turnout. I think we had like 8 or 9 people, you know.
Terrible.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We did a Halloween week teen and adult program called Are You Afraid of the Dark? We had a staff member go to Moser Park and basically read creepy stories in the dark, which is, you know, fun. And we didn't know if anyone was going to sign up, and then the last minute 8 people signed up, so that was good.
Great.
People just want to wait and see if they have any better offers. That was good. This was a flop. Teen advisory group. We really tried. We talked to the middle school principal, the high school honor society coordinator, the 7th grade English teacher, and we had no sign-ups.
Oh boy. Yeah.
I mean, my take is you have teens and tweens that are super busy, super involved in things, and you have some who don't want to be. So trying to find that middle group that, you know, maybe has some time and is inclined towards some community involvement. So I think, you know, maybe once that's over, we'll try to lure them in with food and give it another go. But for now, this is a no-go for us, unfortunately.
That's too bad.
Yeah. We did rearrange our YA teen graphic novel area. So we've been growing our manga collection. Folks probably know manga is a style of graphic novel that's originated in Japan. You know you're looking at a manga because the back cover is the front cover, because of course Japanese is written differently than English. So that's something else that we're doing with that age group, is expanding that collection a bit. We're still doing those weekly take and makes. This was my favorite from this past month. It was
I can't. I'm having a terrible internet night. I can't understand half of this.
I'll send you notes in writing, okay, Audrey?
Yeah, because I'm like getting half of what you're saying.
Yeah, I hear breaking up.
Right.
Bad connection.
Yeah.
So pumpkin string art was, you know, like it sounds like we gave them a piece of wood, some nails, and some strings. They had to provide the hammer, and they made these various fall shapes. It was very popular, went fast. We are almost at the end of our book club year, so I made a graphic with the various book covers that we did this year. So if the folks who were in the library's book club, this is what they read. We're going to put up a display next week, kind of highlighting these and then some of the early titles for next year. It's just kind of, we've never had more than 6. The last couple months we had a lower turnout, mainly because of dentist appointments and, you know, people being out of town for the summertime. But we're going to give it a little publicity push. October was the Great Give Back. That is an annual just drive that we do. We used to do kind of more engaging things involving cooking, but the past few years we've just done food drives or personal hygiene drives to the food pantry. We did a tiny art show. This was kind of fun. Back at the end of September, we handed out like 3x5 inch canvases, kind of like, yay big. And we asked people to bring them back 2 weeks later. And these are about half of them. And you can see people did all sorts of different things. It was really cool. So we did a little mini show in the library featuring our artists.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was good. We got a bunch of teenagers too, which is always fantastic. I reached out to one of the district art teachers and asked her to promote it with the high school kids and middle school kids. And it worked because some came in. This was just our November display. I took a picture of it because I thought it was fun. Jerry Seinfeld and Alan Alda and maybe JFK, I thought were the best ones. Given a mustache, whether they like it or not. This is something that we've been chipping away at for a very long time. The library received its Green Business Certification. We've been working on this for so long that some of you who are newer to the board may not know about it, and some of you who are older may have forgotten about it. But I got to admit, what finally got us over the finish line is they were moving to a different platform in the new year. So I got a message saying, either finish now, or you're going to need to convert all your work to this new platform.
Oh, no.
Highly unappealing, but it was fantastic. I blocked off a couple of days, and we've done, over the last, half decade, we've done the solar panels, the LED light things. So there's a lot of big infrastructure things. And then there's a lot of small things, like signs saying turn off the lights in the staff kitchen and stuff like that. So we just finished off all the little things we hadn't finished yet and put together the presentation. And happily, they accepted it. So we don't need to transfer it all. So that's done. We got some nice feedback from the community on it. So I just wanted to share that with you all. And a couple of nuts and bolts things. We have a new staff member. Some of you might know her because she's local, Hillary Sharouf. I may or may not be pronouncing that correctly. She's from New Baltimore, and she is primarily a musician. She plays the fiddle, and she's very involved with old songs and other organizations like that. She teaches, and she her main job is she does artist visas for artists who are coming to the U.S. to tour. But of course, COVID really put the kibosh on that. So that's that. We applied for an Arts Council grant with Jeff Boyer. This is something for the kids. He does performance art with bubbles, which, if we get funded, I think it'll be pretty popular. We have one of our librarians did a continuing ed for the 2 elementary schools. She just did basically book talked about 70 books for about 70 teachers. I think her voice is pretty shot at the end, but it's nice that the school thinks of us when they're looking for that. Barb is doing a webinar on evaluating, auditing, and diversifying collections, which has led to some kind of good staff conversation about, to what extent do you evaluate your existing collection? To what extent are hard and fast benchmarks helpful, or is it more important to just kind of understand the value of this and move towards it as you can? So that's been good. And that 4th grade class has been coming every other week and livening things up for us.
Good.
Any questions on any of that?
Not for me.
Okay.
Audrey, are you having any better luck hearing? Guess not.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I keep most of it, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I look at the statistics from so you all should have gotten this in the packet. I'll just pull up that original spreadsheet. Program staff. Here we are. So it's like another not great month for circulation. The bright spots, as usual, were and e-content. So you can see Hoop Overdrive, which is the platform we've had for a dozen plus years, was up 13%, and Hoopla, which is that newer kind of on-demand platform, is up 45%. because you know it was pretty new. We started that back in I think May or June of 2020. There's not an awful lot to say except that everything else was down. You can see that we're sending. Like here, for example, we loaned 105 audiobooks to other libraries and only borrowed 41. Same thing with fiction. We sent out 430. We only borrowed 280. And what that means is other libraries' patrons are wanting to read things we have, whereas our patrons are not wanting to read things that other libraries have. So on the one hand, it means that we have a good collection, but on the other hand, it means that our, you know, we need to think about ways of better promoting our collection locally, etc. Kind of, it's hard to convince the community to read more, but that's kind of what this number suggests a little bit. You can kind of see it's, you know, we do have more, we do borrow more nonfiction than we do fiction, so that's a little bright spot. Same thing with kids fiction. We sent out an awful lot more than we have coming in, and that's more or less across the board. Any questions on that?
What did you say you had an increase of 45% in?
That's Hoopla, which is the always available e-content platform.
Okay.
Judith,
Yes.
which column is
I'll go back to it.
what's happening right now? Because one says 2021 and one says
Oh my
2022.
goodness, I'm time traveling. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Is the one on the right supposed to be 2020?
Yes.
Or
I just fixed it on my screen. I don't know if you can see that.
I don't see any. I don't see your screen at all.
You know what? Maybe it's not shared anymore. Well, I'm sorry. I've been going through this whole thing. It says it's shared. That's weird. I mean, I don't know. I know.
I've been able to see it.
There we go. That's better. So thank you. Oh, okay. I just fixed that.
Oh, perfect. That makes much more sense. Thank you.
Oh, I'm projecting. 25 awesome. I guess I was just on a roll. Any other questions on that? Okay, great. Now that we know what year we're in. Okay. So I'm gonna now go down to those financials. If we're good, you should all be able to see this. Can you all see this?
Yes.
So this is our little fiscal bright spot for us. This is the month when all our income is here and our major expenses haven't gone out yet. So we have a lot of money. It's all downhill from here, but it's nice to look at the balance sheet and it's while it lasts. You can see we got our tax levy in. We asked the school district this year if we could have the levy in full rather than them withholding the bond payment. So normally they would give us a 602 minus the 36, but it made the bookkeeping kind of a pain because it never actually went across our books. So they were very agreeable and they sent us the full amount. And one of the checks in the register that y'all approved tonight is that $37,000 going right back to the school district. But yeah, the check is on my desk and the money is still ours. There's nothing, you know, I wouldn't say there's anything particularly unusual aside from the large amount of money. I don't know if anyone had any specific questions about where the money is going or where it's come from.
I just have one question, and we might have covered this in a previous month, and I just can't remember. But under expenses, line item 2012, unbudgeted grant spending. What is that? $14,000.
Okay. Let me scroll. Yeah, it should be up here, right?
Yep.
Unbudgeted grant spending, and that's 2000 what?
2012.
2012. Here it is. So basically, what that is so grants are fabulous, but throw a monkey in the budget because you can't budget for them because you can't, you don't know if you're going to get them or not. So a workaround on that is to explicitly label that. So that 14,000 would have been the final payment on the electrical sign. So that's probably in the books in August. And it's sitting there since. It's in that line because you can see there is no expected amount. So it's a way of recording it somewheres without having to say, oh, we anticipate that we're going to get this because we have no idea. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Thank you.
There may well be, I'm sure there is, in fact, a fancier way of dealing with it, but it works with our bookkeeping system.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And, here's that nice number where they add everything up. So that's the zenith. If anyone has any questions about that.
So are we set with that, Judith? Should we
I'm good.
move on to?
No other questions? It's all yours.
Oh, I just was going to suggest we approve the check registers. Is everybody okay with what they saw in the packet?
Yes.
So I guess we'll do a verbal okay there. Okay. And so then we'll move on to new business. And I guess the one of the issues that we were going to try to chat about today is under reopening adjustments is on the issue of the duration of how long somebody can stay in the library. Do you want to tell the story, Judith?
Sure. I included the email when I sent out the last check register.
Uh-huh.
There was a woman who was in, and she's a new resident in town, and she was, not unreasonably unhappy about the fact that, she was there to study, and we let her know that, we have a 2-hour limit to being in the building right now, and she was displeased, and sent an email to me, and, I kind of went back and forth with her a little bit, and she wanted to know why, or, she wanted kind of proof that that was the case, so I sent her the relevant board minutes, and it kind of felt like it was veering towards just a back and forth argument, which didn't feel like it was going to be productive. So I said, this is the board's decision at the end of the day. If you'd like to give them feedback, here's the board email address, which usually people then don't bother. But to her credit, the one followed through and emailed the board's email address. So I gave it to Lori. Lori replied, and you probably all saw that from when I sent it out. And so Lori and I chatted about it a little bit. And, on the one hand, she certainly has a fair point that when she's sitting there in a corner studying away, what's the harm? And that's why we're having a conversation now.
Yeah, so we were just hoping, I guess I'll put my cards on the table. I don't really, I think it's okay if she sits in a corner and studies for a while, for an unlimited amount of time, I guess. But I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks and whether the staff had any thoughts as well.
Judith, can you stop sharing your screen for me, please?
Oh, sure. Thanks. I do forget about these things.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with somebody sitting and studying for longer than 2 hours. I think the 2-hour window was for people who were wandering around the library, right?
Yeah, it's tough because we could certainly say you can sit in this chair for 2 hours. It's how fine a grain do you want on the policing?
Yeah.
That's kind of
I guess
go ahead.
Well, the downside of saying unlimited for me is my remembrance of the issues that we had with the recalcitrant teenagers. And we wouldn't want that to happen for an unlimited amount of time.
Well, that's what I was thinking is if we had a bunch of kids and a bunch of teenagers in there for all afternoon or all evening.
Right.
I don't know. It seems hard to believe that those teenagers are staying away because we changed the policy. It seems like maybe their routine just changed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has this come up before this, Judith? Like, are there people that are hanging out for hours?
There certainly are people who we let them know, like, oh, there's a 2-hour limit now, and they're always like, oh, okay. So this is really the first person who's really pushed back, but, you know, I don't think he's crazy to push back.
I think, to be honest, if we could distinguish when people are studying, if they're studying, sitting at a desk, I think we can distinguish between those people versus the recalcitrant teenagers who are just hanging out. So I think we can make.
It's hard to have different rules.
It gets to be a slippery slope.
Yes,
It
that's
is.
right.
It really, really does, because then you're showing favoritism.
Yeah. Because it's
You
like,
have to
well,
be
this
careful
person's been
about
here
that.
forever.
Well, recalcitrant teenagers, get yourself your books, your mouth, and go to a desk and sit down and study.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is a tricky subject.
Did the staff have any thoughts, Judith?
Yeah, I'm actually right now just kind of quickly searching my email to see if I can read out as opposed to trying to summarize.
Thank you.
Yep, and I just realized I was searching the wrong account. So I'm now searching the right account. So bear with me here.
Sure.
So, you know, every week I just do a general staff update email. I said, you know, this is something that's going to be talked about at the next board meeting. If you have any, you know, concerns, please let me know. And so I heard back from one person, and their concern, you know, they did have a concern. They felt like it was premature to loosen things up because generally speaking, things are not getting better. They're just kind of on a plateau and likely to get worse in the coming months. So they weren't happy about the idea that we would be making things less strict.
They're talking in regards to COVID.
Yeah, yep. So basically,
Yeah.
they were not in favor of loosening restrictions.
So if that person stayed there for 2 hours, left, came back a half hour later, they can stay another 2 hours.
No, it's a daytime. It's a per day.
2 hours per day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I found it. So, I'm very concerned about the combination of Albany County remaining in the high or very high risk level and the relatively low vaccination rate in this community. In addition, as the weather gets colder, I hear more experts predicting another surge. Raising limitations or removing them and then changing them back is not well received. As we saw when we dropped the mask requirement and then reinstated it. So that was pretty much the feedback.
I wouldn't want this person to well, what do I want to say? Involve other people and bring it to the forefront for others. But the library's not letting them stay.
So just
Well, I think in her email she said that she's, or somewhere along the line, she's new to the community, and I think. I'm sorry, Meredith. Did you have a thought?
yes, but it was not fully formed, so I appreciated the extra 30 seconds to get it together. I'm just wondering, from a COVID transmission standpoint, what's the increase in the risk from people sitting there for 2 hours versus people sitting there for 4 hours?
I think it's pretty low.
Yeah, I do too.
So do we have that in place so that groups can't gather for long periods of time?
There's a limit on the meeting room, right? There's that 2-hour meeting room limit.
Right.
But this person isn't in the meeting room.
Right, and the 2-hour meeting room limit is for the meeting room, but is that also encompassing the rest of the library, or is our policy?
Currently, yes.
Okay. I just couldn't remember exactly what we said.
That's why minutes are so helpful.
I mean, could we do something like keep the 2
We're not
hour
going to be good
limit?
tonight, I'm going to tell you.
Could we keep the 2 hour limit, but put a caveat that if you need more time, you can ask the desk if you can stay another 2 hours, depending on the use of the building and, how, what's
The number
going
of
on.
other patrons in the library at that time, and
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's more that if you keep the 2 hour limit, but like, for example, with the computers, it's currently an hour limit, but if someone comes up and
Right.
says, I had this 90-minute test, then, like, oh, okay, sure, you can stay for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So if someone's invested enough to come and ask, there's, on the one hand, that's a nice way of making that possible. On the other hand, you have no idea when it's going to get busy, right? I mean, frankly, most of the time
Right.
it's not that busy, and we know when large groups are coming in. Yeah, it's tough.
I think it's a matter of equity.
Mhm.
I really do. I think you have to be fair to all community members.
Sure.
Not
Well, yeah,
just
'cause
teenagers, not just people who study a great deal. I think there has to be consistency and equity. I really
Yeah,
do.
you've
Well,
got signs
Maria's-
on all the stacks that say 6 feet for social distancing, and you've got the chairs are not 6 feet apart in the adult sitting area over by the periodicals. So they're not social distancing over in the chair area.
Well, the reason for that is oftentimes someone will come in from a household member. We don't want them yelling as they talk to one another.
Exactly. So that's also, they're not.
Right.
So if our purpose is to social distance a way to keep a thing, we're kind of contradicting what we're saying and trying to achieve here. So if this person is sitting in a corner studying alone, and there's teenagers that are being nice and being alone, I think that we should take this as a case-by-case basis and keep the meeting rooms to a limit where we know they're gathering, but make maybe a no gathering rule in the main part of the library instead of having an hour limit inside the library. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I think that would get way too confusing.
I think Maria's right in terms of equity and fairness. So you can either create, once you put it in the librarian's hands to make those judgments, then that person could be accused of being impartial. And that is a problem. No, we could either say, if you're here to study, we would give you a 3-hour limit. That's it. Or a 2-hour limit. That's it if you're here to study. But if you're not here to study, you get a 2-hour limit, and that's it. You can do it that way. You can make it 2-tier. But whatever we do, as Marie stated, we have to be consistent. We don't want to put it in the hands of the librarian to the point where people accuse that person of being impartial and showing favoritism.
Yeah.
that's what that's tough.
I would agree, Antonio.
So you can almost make it 2 tiers. You can make it 2. If you're there to do studying, you can stay for 3 hours. That's it, though. If you're there for to look at books or whatever, it's 2 hours. You could do that.
So can we say fairly that studying is the only way to get an exception to that rule?
Good point.
Like, I'm wondering if we're concerned about equity, is there any way that we can do a tier or leave it at the discretion of the librarians and still have it fair, or do we just need to keep it 2 hours?
I'd rather keep it clear so the librarian isn't in a power struggle or being perceived as being impartial.
Right.
That's what I'd rather. I don't want to put the librarian in a situation where someone says, well, you let so-and-so do it, and now I'm asking you won't let me,
Yes.
I think that's what Maria's trying to say, too. Is that right, Maria?
Yes, it's exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can go far too, one person studying might be than what the next person's studying. Like I said, this is a tough Equity is the only way I think that it would work.
So I think maybe our choices are to leave it at the 2-hour limit, change it to a different limit, like 3 hours,
That's what I was just going to suggest.
or have a 2-tiered system, which I think I personally think it's a little bit of a slippery slope.
I suggest we maybe move it to 3.
Does anybody else see any other options?
No.
How would that impact how would that impact the library, Judith, if we changed it to 3?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there would be a very major impact. You know, there's the staff comfort level. And I mean, I think I'm in favor of having a one rule for everyone, if only because, especially if we keep the computer limit, very few people come into the library for multiple hours, if not to study.
There are, Judith?
I mean, that's the primary. I mean, someone might come in and read for a few hours, but that's effectively the same thing. I might maybe suggest making it location-based, because there are those few desks that are kind of tucked away. So, you know, those are the places where you can sit for 3 hours.
Yeah, I think that might be a thought, because I just am thinking back to that rough time with, we don't want them there for 3 hours. So maybe that's the key, to say you can use the cubicles for, or whatever they're called. What would you call them? A study
I would suggest revisiting this. Keep the 2 hours for now. Keep what you've been consistently doing, and not putting the librarians in a very difficult situation. You know, I think maintain it for now and see what happens in the next month or two.
Yeah, because it's going to get colder.
Pardon?
It's going to get colder, so some of those teens may start coming back into the library. Or not, you know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we've been really fortunate. We haven't had any problems in a couple of years. I mean, that was a dark history that's fairly, 3 or 4 years gone.
I think
oh, I'm sorry, Lori. Well, I concerned too. Will this person kind of like take this to the news, or take this out to the further community and do damage to us?
Oh, I didn't get that impression.
I don't know. I'm just questioning it. That's all.
I wouldn't worry too much about that, because the libraries had worse situations than this. I mean, we were in the news when we were going to be evicted from the town, from the village building. So, I mean, and we were in the news for that. So this is nothing. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Even if they take it to the news, we can say, yes, this is our policy. We're trying to be consistent. You know, we would like to accommodate, but we're trying to be consistent at the same time. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
I mean, we'll face worse news crises than this.
That's a good perspective, Antonio.
The smell issue that was in the news.
Judith?
Yeah.
Has the survey been written already? I'm just wondering,
It's been, yes.
Okay.
Link to it in your email. And when it's on Facebook, it's been in MailChimp. Yeah, it's in the wild.
Okay, never mind then.
Sure.
What are we deciding? Are we deciding that we're going to keep just the 2 hours? We're not changing it? We're not going to just use the cubicles for 3 and everything else is 2? What are we going to do?
Well, I think Marie's suggestion that we keep things the same and keep the 2-hour limit is on the table. And do you think, can people get there? I'd like to know whether people feel comfortable with maintaining that and maybe revisiting it every month.
I think we can revisit it.
Yeah, I think if we maintain it, we should revisit it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I am a little, worried about writing her back and saying we've decided to keep it, but maybe I'll try to find some diplomatic way to state, please understand that we're trying to keep things consistent, blah, blah,
We're
blah.
trying to keep it consistent along with the CDC guidelines and,
Exactly, right.
trying to reopen and, as these guidelines change daily, we have to keep it consistent monthly and try and keep up.
Yeah. Okay, so, do you want a motion on that, Judith, or are you?
We're not changing anything.
I think we're not changing anything, so. Okay, so, I think thanks a lot for hashing that out, and we can move on to the annual survey.
Sure thing. This is more an informational piece. In the email that I thought I sent out on Friday, but I don't know what happened to. There was a link to the survey. If people know or part of a group that might be game to take it, if you're willing to share it, it's been on our Facebook page. If you can share that. Our goal, of course, is to get as broad a cross-section of the community as possible to take it. It's going to be open through the end of the month, so I'll share the results at our December meeting. I'm just time challenged. We've had about, I think, 60 or 70 people take it so far, so I'm hoping tripling that would be great. It's nice to get at least 200. So it's out there. So if you have a way of, a community that you would be comfortable sharing that in, that would be appreciated.
Where do they find the annual survey?
So it's, we have paper copies in the library, and then it's digital. So it's gone out in our e-newsletter. It's been out on social media, and I can send anyone the link.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we'll all try to get on there and get some friends to take the survey. So I think what we'll do next is figure out the next meeting format, whether we're going to Zoom or be in person. And I'd like to hear what everybody thinks. I'll go first. I'm frustrated that I couldn't get my computer to be on, so this month I'm going to vote in person.
I'm always voting in person, so, because I don't have a great computer.
Oh, Lord.
I know, Antonio, I'm sorry. And Debbie, I know you guys, it's much more convenient for you to do Zoom.
Yeah,
but maybe we'll alternate.
But I think I've been the person that I'm open to either. So,
okay.
I enjoy Zoom because I can go to several meetings without having to travel. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, and I know you're so busy. We'd sure appreciate your being on the board.
I'm not that far. I live in Selkirk, so it's not as if I'm driving 3 hours away to get here. So okay, so whatever the majority wants, I will go. I will do it, okay? Whatever the majority, it's fine with me.
Thank you. Meredith, what's your fee?
I make a motion we do in person next month.
Okay.
Boy, she went right there.
Before the motion, can I just get a sense of, how about you? Marie, what's your feeling?
I'm open to whatever the group wants. I'm a consensus.
Okay. How about you, Meredith?
I prefer in person myself.
Okay. Has everybody, Debbie, I know you'd rather do Zoom, right?
It doesn't matter to me. Like, I have a meeting right after this, but it'll end by December's meeting. I won't have that meeting anymore.
Okay.
So, and I'm out in Queens Hollow, so it's not that far for me to drive.
Okay, thanks. So, did I get everybody? Did I hear
Except
from
for Judith?
Judith, do you have a? I think you've said you'll go anywhere. Well, I think it sounds like let's try in person next next for December, which was December 13th. And thanks for everybody's thoughts on that.
Oh, wait, what'd we decide? I just missed it.
Next,
The person who wants to
My
be,
computer went out. All I heard was
this discussion.
okay, next.
okay, in person for December 13th.
All right.
This is the person who wants to meet in person, missed the whole discussion.
Because this is why I don't like Zoom.
Watch it be a snow day and we can't get anywhere, right?
Well, this is a great fallback if it's, we have a wonderful fallback if it's snow.
That's right.
So I don't think we have any old business unless anybody else has something they'd like to bring up.
So I just wanted to raise kind of float the idea, probably more for a discussion next month, but at some point we're going to have to bite the bullet and go extend our evening hours, which we haven't done. It seems like traffic hasn't really warranted it, but it's a bit of a chicken and the egg situation, right? Like people can't come in the evening, you're going to open the evening, so they don't come in the evening. So my thought is if we were to do that, I think January might make sense if, assuming things are not dire then. And I guess the other good thing about January is I think by then we'll have a better sense of the trajectory of all this. So I'm just kind of mentioning it. So if people, if you're talking to people out in the community, feedback's good. It's one of the questions in the survey, kind of like what times would you like to be able to come to the library? So we'll that data too. But I just wanted to mention it so people can ruminate.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you think at this point, people, it just seems in general, they go where they need to during the day, and if they don't have to go out at night, really people aren't going anywhere. They've created a habit now over the last year and a half where they can only do so much. So, you're saying that there doesn't seem to be a lot of foot traffic for it.
So, again, it's the longer people don't do it, the more dead that habit is. So
right.
You say, oh, we're never going to open in the evening again. What's going to be the impetus? I guess when I started thinking about this, I was in an optimistic mood, maybe like, kids will be vaccinated by then, and maybe people will be going out more. It's not like a beautiful daylight evening like you'd see in September. But it's just, I just wanted to mention it now to get the wheels turning so we can talk about it next month.
Yeah, I'm glad we are, because I think we should at least be willing to venture into that. I mean, right now, I think the library closes at 5, and I'll never be 6. I'll never be able to make it there anyway. So I have to stick with weekends, with Saturdays.
But I think that's a good point. Anybody who's working can't use the library then if we open at 5, if we close at 5. So I think that's a huge point.
6.
Yeah, sorry.
It's hard. Like, you guys who are really involved in how the library is running may not know what time we close. It's hard. I feel like, on the one hand, we've got this digital sign outside. We've been open for a year and a half, but we still get phone calls. Are you open? I'm like,
right. And it was open to 5 at one point, so it's still 5 is still in our mind. I don't know why 5 is still in our mind.
Yeah, right. Me too.
Right.
But I think that'll be a good thing to explore in January or in December. So,
do we have? Can I just ask a question?
Kind of froze, but let's keep going.
Yeah. Oh, she's in slow-mo.
Have they been used a lot for tutors?
Sound like she said something about tutors.
Oh.
Did you used to have a room for tutors?
Okay, so we used to have lots of tutors, and they would fight for space. Basically, like the tables were a hot commodity after school. So yes, our tutors were able to use a small lobby space or a number of the other, tables that were in and around the library. We have not seen the tutors come back yet.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Thanks.
See what we got out of that? That was pretty good.
That's all I got was that last ending, so thanks.
So we can move to upcoming events, which is the first item is Sweets with Santa in December. Does everybody have a line on how that's going to work?
So Sweets with Santa.
I have no idea.
It's going well. Hal Warner is going to be our Santa in the end. So if you see Hal.
Oh, you did get somebody.
I did
Okay.
get someone, yeah. So Hal worked out. Joe Bulky threw him under the bus. Because Alex was going to do it for us again, but then he realized he had to work at his other job that day. So then I messaged Joe, and Joe said he was more of a Grinch, but ask Hal Warner. Unfortunately, Hal said yes.
That's great.
Hal right under the bus.
Yes. So that's arranged. We got our Santa letterbox all set. We've got
great.
crafts are all ready to go.
Great.
So we're in good shape for that.
So
I think Marie kindly offered to provide the sweets again. Is that?
I will buy the chocolate, and I think what we did last year is we had a candy cane and a couple of milk chocolate bars from Krause's. So how do you want to do it this year? I mean, I'm amenable to anything.
And that worked well. If someone has a great creative idea, I'm all ears. And I've since learned that the village parade is the same evening, which is good because we do our program in the morning. So that means we get to think of a fun parade idea. What are you thinking about? So
Oh boy.
I'm going to send an email after this. And if anyone, wants to start thinking about it, because I really haven't given it any thought. Last year we were going to be in the parade, but then the parade got canceled. I think someone had an uncle or someone that had a wagon.
That was me. It's my father-in-law.
Does he still have a wagon?
He does. I will have to ask him how junky it is. I think part of his concern last year was that it doesn't have lights on the back, so it's not technically street legal. So for him to drive hang around, it's one thing, but for it to represent the library is maybe a different thing.
Right. We don't want anyone getting ticketed in the Santa parade. So I'll look for some ideas. Maybe I'll throw some ideas out there. It should be fun. I think we absolutely should be there. But I don't know what the schedule is like yet. So I was happy to see he's coming back, though.
Yeah, that's good.
So you need help, like answering letters?
Oh, yes. So that's, thank you for mentioning that. So when the letters come in, what I'll do is I'll see who among you wants to be Santa's secretary.
Helpers. Santa's helpers.
Santa's helpers. And the way that works is however many people I have who are willing to do that, I'll give you like the Santa stationery. And I'll give you, say if 4 of you want to do it, I'll give you a quarter of the kids' letters. And then just a couple of guidelines on, how we're doing it so Santa can be internally consistent. And, then you get them back to me and we'll have all the kids' addresses and we'll mail them out for you. So,
Well, I definitely want to be part of that.
Excellent.
So do I.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to help stuff the candy and all those things because I know how to put all those boxes together.
That's right, yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
I'll write a few letters.
Okay, great. I'm going to send out an email just so I can give it.
Okay.
For me, it's helpful to have it searchable. It's supposed to my
Yeah.
memory.
And I think the only other item there was to maybe review some talking points or see whether people wanted.
Debbie mentioned last month that one of the things in their book club, which I think is just a fabulous thing, is the idea of every meeting kind of ending with, that's really weird. Did I delete them? Okay, so I had a slide that had talking points, and it's gone, but I can probably remember what they were. Let's see, I was going to suggest as talking points, we have we're bringing back our Lego League team. So if you know any kids who are into Lego, we have an organizational meeting for parents as a parents meeting saying, so we can say, you know, in the spring, it's going to be like a club. And the idea is kind of developing the skills so they can compete in the fall. And that is on, let me pull that up so I can give you the right date. Oh, I cannot minimize Zoom. There's that. So that is, I believe it's on a Thursday. That is, yep, Thursday, 4 p.m. So again, that's just a Zoom meeting for parents who might want their kids to come and be in a Lego League next spring. So that's going to be fun. And then I'm going to also...
That's this Thursday, the 11th?
Nope, the 18th. Thursday
Okay.
the 18th. Something else that's coming up, which is a little different, is we are partnering with a snowmobiling club, and we have a snowmobile safety course.
Ooh,
Partnered
wow.
with Snow Riders, which is the regional team, and it's an all-day course that one of their members teaches. And apparently in New York State, if you are under 16, if you want to ride a snowmobile on public property, you need a certificate. And if you're under 14, I think, but over 10, and you want to ride on a snowmobile without an adult, you need to have the certificate. So for kids, it's required and is recommended for adults. So
That's great.
Snowmobiles, Lego League, and then every Saturday we have a drop-in activity for kids. It's not registered. It's just meant to be like, you know, the family's out and about. There's, you know, on the 20th we're making hedgehogs out of seeds. So just to stop by the library and build something, create something whenever it's convenient for you. So the idea that any Saturday we'll have some kind of kid-friendly, crafty activity going on that people can stop in and do.
Yeah, and what they recommend is that we tell at least 5 people that we know.
Oh, even better. Thank you, Debbie.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Word of mouth.
Great.
It's like it, right? You can't do
Okay.
word of mouth marketing.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching a class on the 13th, but I only have 3 spots left. So
2 spots left.
Wow.
Oh, 2. I only got 2 spots left.
That's why you're
What are we
not
talking about?
No, I'm not a talking point because I only have 2 spots left.
Judith, when is the snowmobile safety course? And I'll see if we can put it in our church show.
That would be fantastic. I'll email you all this in the morning. That's going to be
That would be great.
on a Sunday. I don't know if the church would consider that a conflict.
Oh, no.
It's not work.
Now that everything's on Zoom and Facebook Live, people can do a whole lot of things and go back and look at it later.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is in person.
Okay, well, I'd appreciate it.
It's
Thank you.
December 12th.
December 12th, okay. Okay, so, and our last item is the strategic plan review, but just prior to that, I just wanted to go back to what Debbie said last month about reviewing the policies and bylaws that was recommended in the course that you took, Debbie.
Yes.
And so Judith and I were chatting about it, and we thought one way to tackle that would be to finish out the strategic plan review, which, you know, we do one every meeting, and we'll be finished by January with the strategic plan review. And so we thought then in February we'll start, you know, we'll put, start with the bylaws or the policies.
I don't know.
So we said January?
I thought it was like maybe March. Yeah, like late winter probably.
Late winter.
Yeah, because all we had to do was like reapprove them, whatever we had to do, just to get the date on there.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too complex, but I think that we do have some homework. We each have to get a copy of the bylaws. Let's start with the bylaws. And so first things first is see if you need a copy, and either see me or Judith, or contact us. And if you don't have it, we'll, by the end of, say by February 1st, try to review them, and we'll start to chat about them in late winter. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Yep.
It should be
okay.
reminders that you should all have, but I'm not 100% sure that everyone has one. So if you don't, definitely let me know.
I know I have one. So
Yeah.
speak up if you don't have one. So for the strategic plan review, we're reviewing goal 4, and which reads, provide innovative and non-traditional library services with the goal of creating a positive library experience that defies expectations. So I guess to just chat about it a little bit, can anybody think of something that's happened in the library that would fit that category?
The
Well, they're
snowmobile
doing
safety
zombie
course.
Barbies.
Yeah, the snow
Oh, yeah, the zombie
Yeah.
Barbies.
zombie Barbies. I love it. Oh,
I mean,
and,
what gets more non-traditional than that?
well, and I love the elastic ball thing. I thought was great. So I think those are 3 really good examples.
And I know they
big
said
trucks, the big trucks.
The big trucks was a really good one. Yeah, right.
I
And I
loved
know-
the idea of the family hike too. It was a bummer that didn't work out. I thought it was nice that they were gonna get outside.
Yeah.
The other was identifying all the parks in the RCS catchment area, the library's catchment area.
Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe someday, Judith, we could do, you know how they did the passport thing with the whole, how you could go to every library in the ULAND district.
Expedition.
Yeah, maybe we could do something like that with, I don't know, some category.
Yeah, I really like that idea. When I think of this category, something that comes to mind is people may remember we did a floor maze a couple of years ago. We just put a really big maze made of masking tape on the floor. And I think there was like a feeling of serendipity. People would come in and just find it and then try to solve the maze. And a lot of the programs you guys have mentioned, I think they were really good programs, but it's more like, I don't know, people, I guess it's a good thing that in my mind, those are not unexpected. Like, that's what I think libraries should be doing. So I think of it more in terms of like an experiential thing that's part of visiting the library in a way that, signing up for the River Bowl drop or whatever isn't.
I see.
But these, obviously a good program is a good program.
Well, I don't expect large trucks to be at the library.
Okay, I'll take that.
I really don't.
That's true. I don't know which one of the things I was listening to. One of the libraries, I'm sure Judith probably knows this because everything I send to her, she knows already. She's so good. She's like, oh, I just did this. But anyways, they check out, they have a collection and they check out like cake pans for people that don't have them, like special cake pans and special, cooking, like stuff like that, like candy trays and stuff. And I had never heard of a library that had done that. They check them out like library books.
Yep.
What did you say?
A library of tools. Yeah, I've heard of a library that had basically a workshop of tools that people could borrow.
I think
woodshop.
Our insurance agent says there's some liability issues with that.
I would believe that.
Insurance agents are often the deliverer of bad news. We have a few things. We have a ukulele people can borrow. We have a disc golf set. We have a number of kids kits that are more experiential. In my mind, it's about the trade-off between space and popularity. So, like Gilderland has cake pans, Post and Kill has cake pans. Those are a fairly popular thing. I haven't been super. I mean, I would love to be able to like have them for 6 months and see how they do, and see if they get the traffic. So, but yeah, like I really wish we could do tools. I think tools would do really well in the community.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would. I know I read about a library where you could check out people. in terms of like,
Saw that.
in terms of like they have like expertise in different things,
Oh.
and so you check them out in terms of like you can borrow them to talk about the expertise or something like that. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would
I
be.
saw that on Facebook. I thought that was amazing.
We could do that. It would be a very. I mean, I think I'd probably kind of call on you guys to help us brainstorm what areas would people want to learn about, and then who do we know who would. I've seen it done almost like in a speed dating environment. Like you talk to close, and then you go and talk to the next. Oh, I want to talk to the postal worker. Or I want to.
Well, I have to just let them know I'm a married man, so I tell some of the people with disabilities that all the time. I said, look, I'm a married man. You can't keep flirting with me.
Okay, so it sounds like there's interest in that, and that is like, very little cost. Maybe get them some refreshments and
Yeah, that's a thought.
I don't know if it would be a post-COVID thing when people want to do it. When the whole idea of the program is standing next to someone and talking to a stranger, wearing a mask. But I'm hopeful that in the spring this will all be behind us, which is probably.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's all that's on our agenda. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to bring up?
No.
I was trying to find the survey. That's what I was trying to find.
I'll send that out again. It should be in that email that you either got on Friday or this morning.
Okay, it's not on the website.
It's on the. Yet. No,
it's not.
There. No, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna get added. I haven't gotten around to that yet. It's on my list.
Okay.
There's a link on the Facebook page too from October 31st.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, go to the Facebook page. Okay.
Yep. Well,
And I do have one question about the candy. What's our date for having everything ready for the children? That is the candy, at least, and the letters. I know it's the 4th. The 4th is December 4th is our date, but are we doing something prior?
So we want to give the kids
Prior?
candy when they bring their letters in. And we're asking them to bring their letters in the week prior.
The week prior to the 4th.
So I think we want to have everything ready before Thanksgiving. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you need help, Marie, I'm happy to help. Come in and
Sure.
So, do we want to set a date to maybe like have cookies and hot chocolate and just bang this out and put it all together?
We could do that. We could do the 24th, the 23rd.
maybe the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, just kind
Or
of
Monday.
Monday would be better for me because I'm not working.
Monday would be better for me.
I'm always working.
I know that feeling, Audrey.
I do too, Audrey.
Audrey, retire.
Yeah, because I'm delivering some meals to the homebound at 11, but I'll be available in the afternoon.
Does Monday work for you, Marie?
yeah, I usually have a historical society meeting, but it's the 24th? What's the date?
22nd.
The 22nd. Okay, 11/22. Sure. And what time in the afternoon?
Maybe 1?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock works.
Okay. I just,
Yep.
yeah, all right. All right. That's fine. I will make it.
Are you sure? I mean, you can throw out another time. And
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
made
fine.
that up.
She did, so.
If we could do it earlier, I mean, like 11 o'clock or
Well,
something.
Debbie had the meal delivery, right? At 11?
Yeah, I'm delivering Thanksgiving meals for Equinox at 11, but I don't have to be there. So, I mean.
But you put the boxes together.
I do.
I can figure that out. I saw them. They look They look quite doable.
They're not that hard. I just
I know.
want to be there, but
Yeah,
no.
yeah. We can take pictures and send it to you.
I
I'm
know,
sure.
but then it's going to be FOMO for me, So.
True. All
But
right.
no, if
Can we
the
do it at
majority of you
11?
guys want to do it earlier, that's fine. I'll just go deliver meals and you guys can stuff the stuff without me.
One community service a day is plenty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so 11 o'clock on the 22nd, which is a Monday.
11
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I get done early, I'll stop by.
Good. Good. Okay. Well, I think we are set. Thank you guys so much. And next month we'll meet Monday, December 13th at 7 at the library.
Okay.
Thanks.
Maybe
We'll be able
we'll
to join.
We need adjournment.
Oh yeah, we need a motion for adjournment. Thank you, Marie.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I second.
Okay.
All in favor?
David and Antonio, and then Trish for a second.
Got it.
Okay. Well, thanks, and everybody have a great evening, and
Happy Thanksgiving.
yeah, happy
All
Thanksgiving.
right. Great. Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a good
Night,
evening.
everybody.
Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Night.
Record.